Morning, colleagues. Thank you for coming. If obviously there's a small group, so if we want to move all closer here, so we can have a more cozy discussion. Unfortunately, the video conference rooms are busy. Otherwise, we could have used that. Please get yourselves comfortable. Doesn't have to be front row as long as it's kind of close together here. Okay, as you would have seen in the schedule for today, there's a lot of presentations. We are pretty tight on the schedule, I think, but that's okay. This is going to be first of a number of meetings because to reach the end result, which I'll discuss a little bit later, we will need several more gatherings of all the interested parties. So this is a start. We did miss out a few colleagues, a few sections, which we couldn't fit today. So the idea is that we will continue to have another similar session of the interested parties after this, which then means that we will stay within time for today. At the same time, I really don't want to rush you too much, which means if we find that the section is not able to finish everything within the time, we will not present a few, we'll keep it for the next gathering. So you will not lose out because of time, yeah? So we will try and do that. And before I start, just a brief presentation to give you a background of why we're doing this and how we're all party to this. I just wanted to put on record really my appreciation to the one person who actually initiated this. And he talked to me about it because he coordinates, and that is Vineet here, Vineet Singh. Vineet coordinates similar projects, all the projects in the faculty. So he thought, you know, why not we actually learn what everybody else in the other sections are doing? And that was our very initial discussion, and he's done all the hard work leading up to today. But as we were at the strategic plan meeting, which is the 2019-2024 plan, and we were trying to position the university, you know, by the end of the plan, we realized how important this task is actually going to be in us trying to achieve what we're wanting to achieve. So thank you, Vineet, for your foresight, really. Most of us are quite busy with so many other things and don't often get the time to really think about these things. So I just want to say at the outset, it is not my idea per se. It was really his idea that I took on board, and we moved along with it. Really, when we talked about it, we really wanted to, wanted all of us to be able to answer a few questions, because we're all doing in our own little teams, in our own sections, in our own silos. And when we think about how much we're doing collectively, then a number of questions arise. For example, do we really know what the other people are doing? Do we know whether we can use something that somebody is doing rather than duplicating or creating something for ourselves? Do we know that people are using the right platforms? In other words, they can, the things can be integrated easily, or just because people are working in isolation, they're not quite aware really of what our own structure is and the platform that the university uses. So ITS's know-how, and I think previously we've not really been able to do this very successfully. So a lot of questions arose. So essentially today, and in one other meeting, we want to be able to share from our sections exactly what kinds of projects we have, what developments we're doing to make our lives easier in our sections, whether two sections might be doing similar things, in which case there's duplication, a lot of wastage of manpower, whether we can integrate them and use and share things basically. And ultimately it would be really good to create web services so that all the products and everything could be in one place, and it will then allow other applications to be, other people to get the information and be able to use and integrate or do whatever they want, knowing what others are doing. And as we were discussing towards at the workshop, one of the things that we now become more and more critically aware of is this is what people call the data revolution, and we're living through it. So how do we position the university to be within this space, because we can't be left behind? And those of us who have anything to do with data know that that's perhaps one of USP's weakest areas, really. USB is doing really well in a number of things, but that's one area that we are painfully lacking in. So what that means is for us to position ourselves in the new strategic plan, there's a lot of groundwork that needs to be done for us to prepare ourselves to really launch into that plan with the required ability, really, to position ourselves much better. So the first step is, of course, to know what everybody else is doing and how this work that others are doing can help the university as a whole to integrate things where we can and consciously make decisions not to do so where we don't need to, so that we have a system, an entire university system that's talking to each other and helping each other out. And in the 2024 strategic plan, we very boldly, I have a little group that is working on the priority area 4, which in our current strategic plan is ICT. In the new strategic plan, we are proposing to call it digitalization. And we very boldly said, we'd like USB to be a smart university, to be really connected within itself, and have best ICT practices that we would be using, and be sustainable and such like. So very broad, some may call it wishful thinking, but some of us believe if we start work now, we should be able to achieve this. Yep, so really, essentially, I think what we would like to see, and what I'm hoping that all of us here will also be passionate about, is to make this a data-driven university. That is the ultimate goal. A smart university which can teach itself using data, so that it is able to function in the world that the world is becoming, really. So this is, we think, if we start working now, then by 2021 we should have systems in place, up and running, and then we've got a university that we really want to have in 2021. This is by no means cast in stone. This is just something that we thought if we started working now. So this year, the remaining of this year really is to get our act together about what we have, what we want, and what we need to integrate a whole bunch of things. And then next year we can talk about, setting up systems to collect data, to do a lot of data mining, and to be able to start telling us or informing the university based on data, and then start to really set up systems to start to analyze this and be informed. So that's just a plan. This show and tell and the next one is really essentially going to be about us saying what we've got. It's got nothing to do about what we may want, what we may not want, so everyone can show us everything that they're doing. And then ultimately, collectively, we'll decide what we think is going to be good for the university, what could be integrated with what, and what people can do still in their own sections, which may not necessarily be part of the big integration, but would still be important for them. So it's not about controlling what sections do. It's about looking at the bigger university picture, and at the same time, the Vice-Chancellor is always emphasizing, and I really agree because I think FSD has done well in that, is allowing people to develop on their own, in their own sections, and never stopping that. Providing the necessary resources for people to innovate, people to create, and then, if need be, then integrate that into the university. But it doesn't mean that if something is not going to be integrated, that it's not worth pursuing. So I don't want us to feel that we will put everything together and then we can't do anything apart from that. That's not the case at all. And the projects, we have several. You already have the schedule for today. So essentially what we want is today to hear about what we're all doing and have an input where we feel we need to have an input in what others are doing. And then later on, once we've done this and the next workshop, then we will try and put things together and get the developers to then have a much more technical set of workshops around their products. Well, so that's the plan. Colleagues, is there anything anyone wishes to ask? Vinit, is there anything you want to add? And then it's free for people.
Thank you, ma'am. Just to add on, also at this place, we would like to thank actually FECA. Actually, FECA was the initial organization came to us to see some of the products which we can showcase to them, the USP products. So I met with Joe and his team. So then we realized that there's so many projects that we don't know ourselves, and that's where the idea came about to do this. So thanks to FECA also. Here we did, at this symposium, show and tell, we did not filter any of the projects. Whichever projects departments wanted to display, we just let them do at this time. So some might be open source, some might be commercialized softwares, but the idea is just to that which of these softwares we can use for our departments, our courses, our sections, or in whichever way we can use. So maybe for the next time, we would do more towards the ones that's developed within USP, but for now we just had it open for all. And just to, another major reason was to do this was the mobilization. Whichever functions and services USP have, we would like to have that in mobile by the end of next strategic plan. That was another strategic objective which we discussed in strategic planning. So here we would like to see from M-Learning team that which products we can integrate straight away, and what are some of the products which requires work to be integrated. So for all the developers, one of the things which we would like to emphasize is a web service. Somehow start working on the application to create web services in your application, so that later our M-Learning service or our mobile app will be able to just connect to that and just get the data instead of developing the whole application again on mobile. So that is one of the major component that is not only happening here, but throughout the world. Even the Moodle, I attended Moodle Moot just recently, and they are also focusing on web services now, so that any application in the university can connect to Moodle via web service and get the data straight away. So that's a very useful things which we would like to discuss from here. So thank you. So any of you have any questions?
Okay, if there are no questions, that we'll get straight into the presentations by SLS. Remember, we would like to finish around 10:30. See how you go.
Okay, thank you so much, Dean, and thank you, FSTE and Vinit, for organizing this event. And we'll start off with SAS, Student Administrative Services. Basically, when we give the list of applications quite long, we've given it about 8. So what we've done, we just try to present this application into, will be given about 3 to 4 minutes to present one application, and 2 to 3 minutes at the end for question and answers. For example, the first one will be 3 applications: online admission, resumption, higher program applications, and then we'll have a question and answers right at the end, and then it'll be 2 or 3 minutes question and answers straight after that. We'll start straight away because we want this to finish within 1 hour. USP admissions. We can see that we've got about 93.67% admission rate. It simply means the number of applications that we received, 93% we accepted. It simply means that we're more like an open university. And for example, 2017, we've got 23,000 applications that we received, 22,000 we accepted. That is from preliminary, foundation, Pacific TAFE, right into my PhDs. However, our enrollment yield is 33%. For example, this is how we tackle this admission. 22,000 admissions, and we've got 53% who are new, and 47% these are the resuming students. We want to have that overview of how our admission works, and then from there, that is how we tackle how we can eat up this big elephant. We just have to munch them one by one in pieces. And for this, before we used to have this application, fill in the form and then continue. However, we also have this online admission application in which 53%, these are totally new, no ID card, no student ID. 40%, 47% of these are resuming. It simply means that they already have our information with us. And out of that, some of them are resuming on the same level. It means they might lapse 1 year, 1 semester, or more than 1 semester. And some of these 47%, they apply to a higher program, unclassified studies into undergraduate and so on. And if you look at the 22%, 19%, these are Fiji secondary school students, which is about 4,000 students. And we administer their admission within 2 to 3 weeks. And sometimes it's, once the result is out today, they want within 2 to 3 days, they have to receive their offer letters. These are some of the things, and 34% sits on the outside. Okay, we'll start now with Avinash, with admission. So we'll have 3 presentations, and we'll have questions and answers at the end.
Okay, thank you, Paula. So basically, I'll be presenting on 3 of the topics today. That is online admissions, online registrations, and the Moodle to Bena integration. So I start off with the online admissions. It's in-house developed application done by SAS, and it can be accessed through the link that is available on USP homepage, so which will take you to the online admissions portal. It is also targeted to the prospective students, that is the new students who are applying to the institute for admissions. Yeah? So some of the features of the system is that it allows students to register and do logins to apply for admissions, and then they can add their information, whatever they are putting it in the manual form, they can actually place the same informations on the online system, and they can also upload relevant documents for the application, and after submitting the application, they actually receive a email notification of the application number, which they can use to track applications. So for the current users, currently there are 2 types of users that we have in the system. One is the applicant, and the other one is assessor. So the applicants are basically prospective students who are applying for admissions to the institute, and the assessors are the SAS admission team, PECTAFE, faculty, and some other designated staff who have access to the system to view applications and make decisions on them. And the benefit of online admission is that it is easier to access, as it is available through the USB homepage, and it is widely, it is actually well advertised for the semester, and all the data that is collected is electronically stored, which means that it makes easier for us to search and retrieve applications whenever we want, and also it can be accessed from anywhere in the world. That means if a staff is away, they can actually do their work away from the office as well. Right. Some of the things that it helps in is to reduce storage of paper, as the application is electronically stored. It reduces the use of paper trails, and the response time to students and the application assessment time is also reduced by using the online admission. Some of the future recommendations that is currently we are proposing is that for the online admission to be also used by the high school students for provisional applications. Right now, provisional application is a manual process. However, we would like to expand online admissions to cater for provisional applications as well, and to fully integrate it with Bena, so that we can use the auto assessment module that is available on Bena, recruitment module that is available on Bena. So we can use that particular feature, as Vinith has mentioned that web service is one of the ways we can do that. So we are looking at some of the web services available through our Bena ERP, so which will enable fully integration with Bena. Okay, so we will actually be going into the demo of the online admissions. So I have created a dummy account just to show you how it actually looks like. So from the USP homepage, you will be actually taken to this page, and you can, first you have to actually create the account. Once you've created the account, you'll be receiving an email with a confirmation email, which will confirm, and then your account will be activated. So so once you go to the application, you will be receiving the important dates here. You can check the application requirements, and then we can actually simultaneously open as many applications as we want. Right now they are trimester and semester open, so we can just click semester and submit. So you can apply for 2 levels of admissions, that is postgraduate and undergraduate. So let's go ahead and so I've actually filled in some of the details, and I've uploaded some information. So you can actually fill in the personal details, contact details, and emergency contacts. You can fill in qualifications. So you can see there are some qualifications for the students, and you can actually select programs. So I've already selected 3 programs. So one of the good things is that of this system is that it follows the USP calendar program structure. That means students will not be allowed to select any incorrect program and major combinations. So they'll be able to only select. So basically that makes that actually gives a cleaner data to us when it comes to SIS. Right, and then we have the declaration where they can check the application if anything that they have missed. If there's any outstanding materials, it will actually show it here if birth certificate is missing or something. And then you can actually go ahead and so you can submit the application, and then you'll receive an email notification. So you can see after submitting, once you have submitted, you cannot go and submit this application again. Basically what we are doing is we are limiting applicants 1 application per term, so that actually we do not have multiple admissions for that particular students. Yeah, we have the shown later in the presentation, because that assessment portal actually has the other assessment links as well. So we'll be showing that together. Okay. So next will be Jennifer, who will be presenting on resumption of studies. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My topic is based on the resumption of study. This is a process that's managed within SAS. So in order for us to manage this process, we came up with an automated system to help with the enrollment process. So just a little background on what the online application is. It's an online portal for resuming students. In terms of resuming students, we look at the classification that is according to the regulation, which was included in later 2015. So basically, this group of students are students that have lab studies for 3 years or less. So they can use this online portal to submit their application online. The portal basically manages resumption of studies requests for the same program that the student wishes to study for. Some of the features for this application, the 3 that are highlighted here, is auto-assessment, electronic response by email, and online assessors. Basically, the first one, auto-assessment, the system will check the application that is submitted by the student, will do the necessary verifications, and then will make a decision on the application. In terms of electronic response, basically communication to the student is done through email, so there is no requirement for the student to come down and collect an offer letter, or for us to send out an offer letter to the student by mail. In terms of online assessors, the enrollment team has access to view all the applications that are received on the system. So in order for them to view these applications, their task is to ensure that the system has auto-assessed the applications. In some cases where the verification process is not completed, it requires their intervention, so they will have to check and verify the student details before they can confirm and make a decision on that application. and then an electronic response via email is sent. In terms of users, as earlier mentioned, this is specifically for resuming students. It's available for students at Lodala campus and as well as our regional students. For assessors, we have the SAS enrollment team that is based here in Lodala that currently manages the system. For our future direction, we're looking at potential users, so we're hoping to integrate this to the regional campus staff members, particularly in the SAS offices. So we're hoping that they'll be able to manage resumption applications specifically for their campuses. Also with faculty staff members, those that manage PG level studies, that is by coursework, we would like to include them in using the system so that they can specifically review the applications that are submitted by these resuming students. In terms of benefits, basically the ease of access as we move forward with technology. A lot of people have access to the internet, so a lot of them find that it's easier to do a lot of things online. So trying to take advantage of that is one of the directions that we've moved into, and therefore it's an easier way of accessing, and it's available 24/7. But in line with processes, we have deadlines, so students will have to make use of this system by a specific date. Also, auto assessments of requests received. There's little interaction on our part. All we need to do is to ensure that the system is working fine and is doing what it's supposed to do. Some of the benefits in terms of what it reduces, looking at response time, there is a great reduction in the time that is taken for us to respond to a query because of the automation part, and also the wait time for students. In terms of the system verifying, it takes about 24 hours, and then we can issue a password. This password is used by the student to log into the student SOLS account and to continue with online registration. And also the manual assessment done by our staff. So here we can save time in terms of our interaction with the applications that are received on the system. In terms of our future direction and some of the things that we would like to improve on, these are some of the recommendations that we have put out, and the first one is to enhance auto assessment feature. With new technologies coming into the market, it's important for us to try and grab hold of those products, and also to see how it can also integrate with our current systems in place. Also, we want to include SMS notification of application status, and this is to be more proactive in our approach to notifying the applicant that a decision has been made on their request. Also, exploring the possibility of instant responses. This is a challenge, but something that we're looking to working on in the future. Now I'll just go through a short demo, just looking at the portal, the resumption of study portal that is used by the applicants, and then we'll move on to the next topic. So basically, this is the link that's available on the USB webpage, and it's just a simple application, and it's a request for resumption of study. There's a tracking system in place, so if a student has applied and they want to receive an update or want to track their application, they enter their tracking number, and they're able to find a summary of where their application is right now in terms of the decision. So here you need to select your resumption term. As we know, there are some courses that are offered on trimester basis, and then there are some that are offered on semester basis. So we have both links available. So we'll click on semester base, and then you have important notes, just a few notes required for the applicant to read through in terms of their eligibility to use this online system. We also have a deadline, a notification of when this application system will close, and also the processing timeline that's taken, which is standard across for all applications that we receive. And then the student is required to fill out their personal details, and we have 3 verification questions. This is used by the system to capture the details of the student and to match what we have on Banner. So based on this, once the student has submitted the request, we also receive a notification that that a request has been sent, and then the assessors, the enrollment team, go into the system and do checks on a daily basis. So that's basically the resumption of study portal, the application that we've recently gone live with in the last year. We started off in 2016 semester 1. We started with only 630 applications, and this has increased gradually. We recorded over 2,000 applications for semester 1 this year, so we can see the importance of this system catering for the number of resuming students that we have. We also have received queries from students, and as we receive queries from students, we've tried to incorporate some of the changes onto the system. Now we'll have the next presentation, Higher Program by Paula. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. In terms of that resumption application for the online assessment, it simply means that if anything that is not auto-assessed, we don't reject, then it needs a manual assessor to go and verify. Sometimes it's just a typing error. Sometimes they need to call because they've got they cannot confirm that online. They just need to call the students up and then verify those information and then approve. Okay, the application to higher program. Background, it is also on SOLS. It allows students registered students to apply to a higher program. For example, any preliminary or unclassified prelim students can apply to Pacific TAFE and Foundation program using this application. And also those who are on foundation, unclassified foundation, and unclassified undergrad, they can apply to Pacific TAFE program, undergraduate degree, or certificate or diploma program. They don't really have to fill any other personal details, just go and select the course, the program that you want to enroll, to admit it to. So the feature is on student, there are two portals. One is for the student and one is for the assessment. Student, they can apply to a program of choice, and the assessment portal, they'll be able to assess and make decisions on those. The users, the online portal is by the students, and the assessment portal is currently used by the SAS Laudala team. And the potential users, we want to roll that assessment soon out to Pacific TAFE staff and also to the regional SAS staff members to assess their own application. Go straight into this. There you go. Sorry, I'll be just good. I've called up students to use his student ID. And so if, for example, this student, they just go to this higher program application, they just select the campus that they want to study in the program of choice. They just verify the personal details that is pulling directly from our central database, and then just submit an application. That's it. So it means all the academic history is with us, and they don't need to submit any other application, any other information. They just select a campus, program of choice, and submit. So that is application to higher program. So it simply means that they are currently registered in all those unclassified preliminary foundation, and they go into the high level. So at the moment it's just that we have not moved from those who are currently doing undergraduate degree into the postgrad. We haven't moved that. So at the end, I think that is for the application to the higher program. I think maybe we'll just move on to the, we've got questions and answers for those two applications. Will take about 2 to 3 minutes. Before we move on to the next one? Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions?
No? Can I just seek one clarification? There is one for the one that you discussed, higher qualification, and then there is one general one for admissions.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? The general one, so if I'm a student and I don't know about this higher education, higher qualification application, I can still go and fill that other one, right?
Yes.
So are we not creating some level of confusion? Just something to think about. You don't have to respond, right? Any other? Okay, thank you very much. I think that's been really good.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one, online registrations.
Thank you, Paula. For online registration, as you know, this is a online registration system for our university, and it is also in-house developed. So what we'll do is we'll show you a small video of how the application actually works, and then we can go into further details. Thank you. Sorry.
Welcome to online registration using SOLVS. Online registration system is part of Student Online Services, SOLVS, which can be used by students to register for a course at the University of the South Pacific. Open any internet browser of your choice. Type the URL www.student.usp.ac.fj and press enter. This will load Student Online Services page. Under SOLVS, click on Click Here, hyperlink to the Access Online Registration. Logon page will appear. In order to access SOLVS, you will need a valid student ID as username and a password. If you're a new student, your password will be given to you with your acceptance offer letter. For continuing students, this will be the same username and password you use in order to access USB student email or other online services. Enter your student ID as username. Enter your password. Click Submit button. Click on My Registration on the left menu. Your online registration page will appear. Below the Active Registration section is the Add Course button. Click Add Course button to add a course. You will see that courses are grouped together. Click on Show Link to display the list of courses available for registration. Tick the checkbox beside the course that you want to register for. Read this important note before submitting your registration. Click on the Submit Registration button to confirm your registration. Under the Active Registration section, you should view the courses that you have registered in. If you have met prerequisite for a course, status will be flagged as approved. However, if you haven't met the prerequisites, status will be flagged as request. Here completes your online registration. Go to Active Registration section where you can view your registered courses. Find the course you want to drop and click the corresponding drop button. Click the Yes, I confirm button. Here completes dropping of course. If you need further information or clarification, please do not hesitate to contact the USP student at
Thank you very much. That was a small video of how the online registration actually works for students. And basically what this system is that it's an in-house developed registration system. It has been there for quite some time, and over time it has been actually improved and expanded as well. It caters for the registration of USP course registrations for multiple academic terms. So the registration can be actually opened simultaneously for many terms at once. Some of the features of the online registration, as you have seen, is that you can actually do add, update, drop and withdrawal of courses online without filling in manual application forms. And this is done through online scheduling, where you actually open the dates for add, drop and withdrawals using date setups. It also enforces registration policies and puts applications on request if need be. Say for example, this 75% progression, it actually is able to handle all these policies within the application. And we also have capping of the courses, which means that we can limit the number of seats per course or per offering. And this actually is requested by some of the faculties and schools for some of the courses. And also the course selection is done from our BANA system, which is called Curriculum Advisory Program Planning. So, which actually stores the program structure, and that is where the courses are actually picked from. So it's fully integrated with our USP BANA system. And for users, we have two types of users, that is our current students who are currently studying at the university, and also we have the newly admitted students, those who have been newly admitted and they need to register for any courses within for their program. And we also have the faculty staff. Basically these are the course coordinators who actually approve registrations that go on request. And we also have designated SA staff for support purposes. And for potential users, we are looking at campus staff for online pending request approval. And for benefits, this, as I've said, that this system is fully integrated with BANA. So any adding and dropping of courses that is done through online source is actually updated on our core ERP application. And it also establishes a uniform implementation of regulations so that you can actually implement the regulations to all the students, and not just to favor a particular student. And the enforcement of enrollment regulations as well. So these are the regulations that enable students to register. So these are actually enforced within the online source. And it's also easier to access as it is available on the USP homepage as well. And also students can manage their course online, and dropping and adding of courses online without actually sitting in long lines for manual registration. Some of the future recommendations are to perfect our course selection. So in some areas we actually lack course selection issues, because sometimes electives we have to see all the electives. So we want to actually improve that, where we only have relevant courses shown. And our ultimate goal is to basically eliminate any manual registrations. Okay. Any questions on that? Yes, Lydia. Thank you, Lithia.
Just add to what Lithia said, and I think this is a good example of things happening in one place and potentially in another, and the need to integrate. So you'll need to talk to Shabnil. We've actually hired Shabnil for something else, but he's working with another person because we are trying to now automate the grievance process. So working back from there, we realize that if the AAF is online, then that would fit nicely with grievance as a process to continue. And then just as you were presenting here, I said to Shabnil, well, the natural place to connect the AAF and that approval process would be here. So that's where the two systems now need to talk to each other. So that's really good. We take note, and from here we can now talk and make sure that we integrate them. So that's one advantage of this presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Jokan. Moving on, we have program requirements, which is presented by Paula.
Thank you, Agnes, and I think we can see that things are the ideas are coming in and how we can work with one another. Okay, program requirements. This is an online application as well as sitting on SOLS, student SOLS. Basically what it does, it outlines the student's program structure, provides an overview of our student's program, progress, and it's only available to students who are admitted from 2013 and onwards. Why we just start from 2013? Because we know that those prior to 2013 will soon be phasing out, even though some of us might take longer than that. Okay. The features allow students to view the courses which are mandatory in their programs. For example, a good example is there are a lot of prescribed programs that there are no electives. Only the dynamic ones are the one that is electives, where you can select the optional or the electives. But for the structured programs, we have the mandatory course, we've got the optional courses. This is take 2 out of the list or 1 out of the list, some list. And the electives, if you've got 700 level and you can take 100 level from the list of, and course that is open as long as you met the prereqs. And if you've got your completed course, you just put a small tick. If you are currently registered on that course, you just put a small R. A T is for if it's a credit transfer courses. And if you have failed a core course, there'll be a note down at the bottom. They will just notify you, oops, you failed the core course once or twice, because there's a regulation. If you fail it 2 times or 3 times, you'll not be able to register. Or you have to do academic counseling either out of the program and select another one. It is currently available to students. So it is for the preliminary foundation undergraduate programs. Undergraduate means certificate, diplomas, and degrees, and the Pacific TAFE programs. They can view the program structure straight away. And however, The potential users will be, we want to make this available to the faculties as well, and also to the government sponsors as a proxy. It simply means that if they're tagged as a sponsor, it means the sponsors will have to provide them with a portal. They'll be able to view the program structure rather than they coming and asking for this for request. Go straight. I've also asked permission to one of the students to use her ID card, her ID number. Yeah. So basically, once the students logged in, they'll just go down right to my program structure. They'll be able to view the program structure. There is, for example, this student and the program structure, 800 level, 8200 level, 8300 level, and these are the 100 level, 200 level, and 3. And the 8, if it is a T completed, if it is R currently registered in, if there is no indication, it means have not completed. And if there's a T, it's a credit transfer course. And there's a key down here, and a completion meter, 13/24, almost there, 54%. If you fail a core course, this is what I'm mentioning. I've been saying it means you fail BI 206 once and MS 206 once, so that the students can, and this is a note down here. So that is basically my program requirements. Students just click and just view. We were able to see a lot of, before, in the beginning of the semester, we used to get almost 1,000 requests for program audit. Now, it's gone down, almost nothing. They just go in, and the program audit at the moment is done by faculties. That is why we want to give this access as well to the faculty, so they can guide them in their counseling. Yeah, I think that's the program requirements. And any questions? So yeah.
Like the Dean has mentioned earlier, like we are building some new things, the one with IAA framework and the one with the grievance. So like if we are planning to build something independent of this, like separately, how flexible is this system with the web services, like Vinith has mentioned earlier? If I'm planning to build something separately and I require some of this data, for example, the program requirements, how flexible is this system with the web services?
Okay. Thank you. This application, just a little bit of background. It is like a temporary solution into a product that we want to build. It is like we just, in the next phase, that is the project that we submitted. We want to do a job process that will be stored in a database, and we can build web services that will just pass ID and give out information. Yeah, we can do that. However, this one is just a temporary solution for the students because the students need it, and we'll build, once we finish the back-end process, and they'll be able to build that up.
Thanks, Paula. There was few things from previous presentation also. One was SMS notification, so we're not moving towards notification and more towards mobile notification. And one question was that all these services applications are already online. Not to have the same applications from the mobile phone, allow them to admission and everything. We don't want to make the entire system again. Whole thing will be staying like that. Just from here, our system, they enter those fields, name, ID, whichever fields are there on mobile, and through web service we send it to your system. Your system does the whole web server-based analysis and all the processes, and then just sends back the information. So that is something which we want to probably look from now. So web service is really important now, I see in your projects that can be done. Another thing from this last presentation, that you are giving list of first year, second year, third year course, but one thing which students really miss out or they do errors throughout their program is like selection of wrong courses at wrong semester, and they end up doing extra semester to complete their program. So one thing we would like to have probably in future is that recommend or give the whole structure that these courses are meant to be done in this semester, so that like some courses are only offered in that particular semester. So that would be really helpful to students so that they finish within the time frame. Thank you.
Thank you. While explaining that, something comes to mind. What it can be done, offerings is given by a campus, and it is also stored on banner, the offerings. However, that if someone can come up with the initiative of like a game, just drag and pull. If it does not, if that offering is not available in semester 1, semester 2, and then if it is available, you can place it up, and then just like putting up a map. There is a challenge, someone can just pick it up and just develop it. Yep. Thank you. Continuous assessment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Paula. I'll be discussing about the continuous assessment, which is basically the Moodle to Bena integration project that we are currently working on. So basically what this application does is pulls the Moodle data into Bena. So when we go to Vinit's example of web services, basically this is what actually is happening here. What Moodle has done is created a web service, and then we just pull the data, and then what we are doing is we are processing that data on our own so that it can be actually exported into our Bena ERP system. So some of the steps that is happening is that we import the data directly from Moodle, and then we actually create our own database so that we do not disturb any data that is on Moodle. So we save it on our own, and then we have to process the data. We have to clean and make in a format that Bena can accept. So after all the data is cleaned, verified, then it automatically pushes the data into. Actually, the whole process takes quite some time because we have a huge data, and then there's a lot to process and clean. So basically what this happens, because in Moodle, first of all, they do not have store PIDMs and CRNs. But in Bena, everything is done through PIDMs and CRNs. So that is where we have to clean, match, and do all those processes. So for features and benefits, basically what the feature of this system is to basically pull data from Moodle and into Bena. So it's not replicating, because Bena is the core ERP application, and majority of our reports are generated through Bena. So we need to have these data available in Bena. So that is why we are actually pulling it. And some of the benefit is that the data is actually stored where the primary student data is located, and also it establishes a centralized storage for all student assessment marks, and it creates a positive user experience, as most staffs use MIS, and also most students tend to see their marks on SOLS. So what happens is SOLS and MIS both pull data from Bena. So it makes much easier for staffs to view this data. And also, it actually establishes that it helps us to create reports easily at SAS, and also provide these reports to faculties if needed. So any question on that?
Is this continuous assessment happening at the end of the transfers happening end of the semester, or?
Actually, we are planning to do it every end of the semester, so that we can allow changes on Moodle throughout the semester, and then at the end of the semester we just pull everything into the banner.
I'm just interested in the timing of that, because what functional role does the faculty excuse me, examination boards have? So I'm just wondering who is entering that data. There's presumably course coordinators perhaps, but then where is that verified?
Maybe I'll respond. I'm assuming that when you talk about Moodle data, you're talking about the mark sheet, right? That's all.
Yes.
Yeah, which sits on the mark sheet. Right. Now the mark sheet is populated as we go along, and there really is no verification process for the mark sheet. It's just you collecting that information. Now at the end, what we don't do at the moment is we don't put the final marks and grades, because when we do that in the end, we upload it somewhere else. So ideally, once you've extracted it, that information should sit here as well as the complete course information, and then be kept. So the answer is, you don't really have a verification thing as such, but what you will currently pull from the mark sheet is only continuous assessment. But why not keep the entire lot, the final marks and the grades as well? So everything is stored in one place. That would be my recommendation. I know Dheeraj and them did some work on this a few years back, so I'm assuming you just, I mean, it'd be worth talking to them.
It's actually the same project.
Okay, yeah. More questions? Thank you, Agnesh. Paula.
I think this project will also help in the at-risk or early warning identification of students who are at risk. So we can, yeah, I think so.
Actually, yes, it could. The early warning system does that within a course, if you implement it. I think you might want to talk amongst yourselves and these guys here in the faculty about whether as an institution, and some institutions do this, as an institution where you want to create using the mark sheet, in which case you'll need the mark sheet to be used, say, you know, for 4 or 5 weeks into the semester, to be able to identify institutionally students who may require help rather than individually in the course. I mean, can do both. But for the institution, I think, again, going back to data, it's going to create a whole lot of information that will be really, really useful at an institutional level. So I think this discussion needs to take place.
Thank you, Dean. Any more questions? Okay, thank you. Maybe we need to move to the next one.
Okay, thank you, Avinash. I'll be presenting on academic misconduct. This project was started earlier this year. Well, academic misconduct is any dishonest practices that a student may use to further their academic progress. Currently, the original process is the decision is made on the student's academic misconduct, and emails is being circulated amongst all the staff members, and hard copies also of the decisions is also being stored. And it is sometimes filed and sometimes not filed, and at times it's not even updated via email. That's the current process at the moment. And the features of the new system that has been developed and is on production currently, that is central record keeping database. It is available for staff to use. It is a good reference tool for the SDC, Student Disciplinary Committee, and it assists them in making student disciplinary cases decisions. Current users, currently there is only one user, that is Student Administrative Services, SAS. The potential users are Student Disciplinary Committee reps, deans, faculty staff, and DVC LTSS. Functions, the system is able to add users to enter and view the data, record academic misconducts from the faculties and SDC, view the decision made on a student's academic misconduct, display the student's academic misconduct history, and search for student's academic misconduct and its decisions that has been made on the particular student. Final remarks, this system is a simple system that has been just there to record keeping, and this system is projected to move to faculty staff members from last quarter of this year. That is still going on, and this is a very simple system, and training will be provided to all the faculty staff members to enter the academic misconducts. Currently this has been only done by SAS. Now I'll just show a brief demo on the student academic misconduct application. This is the dashboard. Everyone will be able to see this. I'm sorry that I won't be able to show the academic misconduct list, as this is on production and the students are actually real, they are caught cheating in real. And total academic misconduct cases has been 5. Total faculty misconducts entered by SAS is 2. And total SDC misconducts is 3. So in total there are 5 misconduct. And this portal, this is a faculty portal where faculty staff members can log in and they can add the faculty misconduct and view the list. For adding, they can add the personal details as such, and case details and all the respective details, position, name. This has been replicated. The form is already there. The manual form is already there. This has been just replicated in an online application. And management can also use this for statistical purposes, as the graphs will show for the current year for 2017 the total number of misconducts that has happened in April, total number of misconduct that has happened in July and August. Mostly this was mainly for SDC members, but this has been incorporated to for the faculty staff members to include the plagiarism, so that when a similar student makes a misconduct in a final exam and has previously cheated in assignment, that is plagiarism, the SDC can make the decision based on the past historical performance of the student. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions? No questions? Just, this is not operational, right? Faculties don't use this right now.
No, this is currently used by SAS. It is on production, but currently used by only SAS.
Okay. Yeah, because as you know, misconduct happens at, gets addressed in 3 stages, not at 3 levels. The head of school makes a decision on whatever, so that needs to be entered by the head of school, obviously. Then anything bigger than that comes to the dean, who makes the decision. So the dean should be able to enter it, and then anything above that goes to disciplinary committee. So as long as the structure can demonstrate that, otherwise the smaller misconducts, because remember, the whole idea of setting this up was to identify students who are repeated offenders, so you can address their issues appropriately. So just to say that, you know, the 3 stages need to be there.
Yeah, thank you, Dean. Absolutely, we'll be coming around to faculties and do training, and then we'll see I think that is already facilitated different levels, at different levels. Yep. And it's role-based. Okay, I think we are about time. Yep. Okay, just the last one on the ID card validation process. This idea came out I think last month from the USP Security Office. They want to validate whether someone who's entering the campus is a student or not. And at the moment we know it's quite hard, as we don't have any validation on our ID card. So just the main purpose is to validate a student status. And at the moment, still on conceptual and planning phase. So it's a good area in which we want to bring out. And if you've got any suggestions on how we can implement this, and there are three possible solutions that we were thinking of. The first one is just traditional validation stickers. I believe SAS staff just I don't know, because in the beginning of the semester one, we're talking about 12,000 students in Lodal, 11. So they'll be lining up, and to validate, we will put a validation stickers on a specific date in which they will be saying, okay, this is the validation date. You come, and we'll give you a sticker, and it will be expired. That sticker will be expiring at the end of the first semester. And we will be expecting about 10,000 to 10,000 students lining up at the student administrative services or in ITS. Okay, the second one is we're thinking of developing a mobile app. Web services, just scan the ID number and it just pop up, valid student, not valid student. That's what we want to put up. And the third one is what ITS have come up with, the RFID card. I think it'll be part of the access control system, in which we have to do, all the students and staff will be having this RFID card. Just touch on the front, on the main gate. If it is green or blue, yes, go on. If it's red, then go straight into the office and then just check what is your status. Yes, and then accessing the room and all those things will be done by the RFID. Once we move into the RFID, then we'll phase out our current ID card. Yes, I think if I'm correct, it will be a passive one. It simply means that not so they can just touch on and then it's all available. So I think that is what we want to do at the moment. And but what DVC LTSS wants, we want it next semester to be implemented. But we'll try something. Maybe I'll ask Avinash to come forward with a mobile app. We've just tried to develop it, rapid development, try something that will check the security and everything, so that it can only be accessed within the USB network wireless, cannot be accessed outside. Just make sure that the security is here, so that you can just come up with a mobile app. Yeah.
Actually, what we have done is we have come up with the idea of mobile app. So we have actually worked on a prototype. So I currently have it with me. So if you want, I can show it to you. Okay, I have two ID cards. What it does is basically uses a very what Vinny is saying, web service. So it uses web service to pull out student is very open. So you can actually scan the back. No, here, just here. Scan with the no, the red line has to be So actually, because the network here is a little bit slow, so it takes time for it to validate. Just here. So it is able to actually identify, and I believe that ID card is a valid student. So if you want to see the valid, so you can actually click scan and then you can, sorry, I just do this, the line to be. And then just change the, so it is there.
Well, as an immediate measure, I think this would be absolutely fine for us to implement next semester. Just wanted to go back to the RFID. We did talk in our strategic plan priority area 4 group and earlier in some other discussions when we were talking about the main gate, the new main gate coming up, and the need for staff and students to have RFID cards, because that would then ensure that, you know, people who we want coming in can come in, and anyone else we will need them to get permission to enter campus. But the other thing about data, you know, being a data-driven university, it makes a lot of sense that we must look at RFID cards, because then that would give us data, you know, that would collect data for a whole bunch of things. Lecture attendance, for example, tutorial attendance currently we're doing manually. So there's a whole bunch of things that the RFID card would facilitate, and I think that should be our ultimate goal. But for next semester, the mobile app seems like a really good idea.
Yep. The prototype is there, so the only thing that we need to do is improve on it and do a lot of security checks and make sure that it is usable, the usability test as well, because it will be used by security. And at the moment, we're only using, we'll try to push it up to Android only, and then we'll just maybe just limit it to maybe some tablets, USB tablets, and be given to security to use it for next semester. Otherwise, we'll be validating 10,000 students semester 1. Yeah, thank you. I think time is up, and thank you so much. If there's no question, thank you.
Thank you. So, colleagues, I think we've all learned a little bit from what good work SAS is doing, and identified, at least in the first instance, some potential linkages to other sections. So this is probably what's going to happen for the rest of the day. Thank you very much, and thank you for being on time. We've got about 30 minutes for morning tea, which is up there, I assume. So please make your way.
You want me to mention that? Start now? Okay. Okay, welcome back everyone. For this section, we'll be presenting on some of the ITS applications and software. Firstly, welcome. My name is Numaya Tampunakawai. I'm an analyst programmer here at MIS. I'll be just taking us through some of the applications and a brief overview of our application ecosystem. Some of the applications that we'll be presenting on MIS Online, our transcript system, eQuotes, our survey apps, and the Cognos reporting platform. In front of you is basically a brief overview of our applications ecosystem here at USP. We've got different applications, both feeding off our central banner repository. We have applications. Initially, we catered for the applications from the three main banner stakeholders: HR, finance, and SES. But as we've gone on, we found that we're getting more and more requests from outside, from other departments, such as planning. We've got some library applications, CFL, Moodle, research, faculties, as well as properties, as you can see. Most of the applications that we'll talk to you today are all listed here: MS Online, eQuotes, that's part of finance, the transcript system, and the Cognos component. Would also like to highlight some of basically we're moving into some cloud applications, which we've implemented with our e-recruit system with HR, and also touching on the fact that we've also noticed a lot of our users we're not getting the traditional users of USP users such as staff and students. We are also getting requests from external users that would like to access our applications. So one of the examples is from this code system. We're getting things like requests from vendors, contractors, government agencies, etc. So the banner system basically saves time because we pull in most of the base data, any data that's available on students, on staff, and on financials. Doesn't require any re-entry because it's already captured by banner. So basically that's a brief overview. For any questions, we'll get to your questions after the full presentation. Thank you. So we'll just move on to MS Online.
Thank you, Numa. Today I'll just be presenting on or showing how MIS Online works in USP. MIS Online is quite an old system. It was actually developed by ITS in 2005, and it was developed for the intention of a one-stop shop for USP information system services. So in this system, there's different modules that have different functionalities, providing different functionalities to the users. It's one of the main reason also that it was developed was to actually ease the load on accessing banner information from banner itself. For those who are not banner users, back then they could use MIS Online instead of logging into banner or having an account in banner. they can just access MIS Online, which is user-friendly and easy to use for reporting purposes. For accessing MIS Online, you will need to approval from your supervisors and the actual data owners of the different modules. When you log into MIS Online, you won't be able to view any module. If you have your user account that is being provided to you by USP, you can log into MIS Online, but you won't be able to view the modules unless and until you get approval from the data owners. For example, if there's a finance module there, you'll have to ask approval from the finance team. Then and only if you can, then you can access the finance module. There's different modules in MIS Online, and on the screen those are the lists that are offered in MIS Online, the modules. They actually have different functionalities altogether, and beside the modules are the main stakeholders that you will need to ask approval from to access those modules. For finance module and HR module, it's just basically reporting from BANA, reporting from when you want BANA finance information or HR information from BANA, MIS Online can provide that for you. Also for student module, there is a student option there where you can actually view student details, results, and their history. And then you will have to ask approval from SAS. Then there is a telephony billing module. That is just to look at the number of calls that you've been making to whereabouts that you've been making calls to. And then there is vehicle risk module. This is to capture the drivers, USP drivers, and all the vehicles that are owned by USP. And it actually sends notifications to the staff who are actually drivers. If their license is due for approval, it sends emails to them, and also for reminders to the risk team if a vehicle is needed to be renewed. It's third party. And then there's the asset system module. This is for PNF, formerly PNF. It's the estate and infrastructure now. It captures all the buildings, properties, and rooms that USP owns. Not only in the Lovala, but all in all buildings, facilities, and rooms in the region. Sorry. And lastly, it's the IT booking module. This is mainly for the IT staff that look after the ICT center and the REAC room. They actually do their booking on this module, and this reminds them of what event has been actually booked on what room, or like the ICT center or one of the REAC rooms. So this is basically it. This is quite a collection. I'll go right into a demo of the MIS Online system. Like I've said before, if you have access or if prior approval, you'll be able to view the different modules that are there on your left, on the left of the screen. I'll just hover down to the risk module, and you've got registered vehicles. This is where you actually enter the vehicle details. And these are all the vehicles that are owned by USP currently. You got master report for reporting purposes. And the different sections and departments that the vehicles are actually part of. And you can actually select what reports that you like to view in the risk module, sorry. These other modules that you can ask for approval to view will be dependent upon the data owners to give approval for that. Just to conclude, while I'm calling up my colleague Zuleti, since this was developed in 2005, we've actually undergone a project to actually refurbish the system, and we've tried to make it service-oriented, make it friendlier to web services, or using that architecture, service-oriented architecture. Currently, we are undergoing that project, and we hopefully by 2018 we can actually roll out a new MIS online system, which is using web service and these other features like workflows and all these other new technologies that are part of the new framework of Microsoft that's provided, that can be built into this system also. Without further ado, I'll call up Juliet.
Thank you, Jobe. My name is Zelati Hwala. I'm one of the programmer analysts in the IT MIS section here at USP. And my primary responsibility is on the HR and payroll modules and the support from IT on that modules to make sure that the operational features of HR payroll is always up and running, so that when our pay due dates are due, the payroll section will be able to execute the pay and we get paid. So that's the primary responsibility. My task here now will be, as this symposium as a theme, it's show and tell. So I will show you one of the modules that we have in MS Online, that the payroll and HR office use. I'll just log into that module for us to go through some of those what is involved in that. But before that, maybe just need to re-emphasize on this. I'll be going into the live data, and this system is used by the payroll. So when I go through some of the menus that the sub-menus that are here in the system, I will just go down to some the detail, the level where the parameters are on selected parameters, and I won't go down to the populating the data because it's sensitive data. Okay, as mentioned by my colleagues, this is one of the modules that is on MS Online reporting platform, which is on this one, as he mentioned already, you will only see this, you will only have access to these modules once you are given the, granted the permission by the data owner of payroll and HR. So basically, when you log into this system here, the HR and payroll system, this is mostly used by payroll section. This is the menu that is available to them, and this is assisting them on delivering the functional responsibility on their day-to-day operation of the payroll system. Now, what we have got here is basically a reporting platform, as I have mentioned, and this platform here basically groups together the data that we have in the Banner main application, because on that application we do have the data, but then to populate this data we need to know the forms and the different populated forms, access the data on that, go into another form, access another data set on that. So this reporting here is basically grouping the data together to make the life of the operational or payroll a bit easier on when they come to validate the data. So this is basically what we have on this module. It's all designed for the payroll users, and hopefully what we have got here is somewhat like the standard reporting for payroll and HR. But you know, the situation in reality is that at times the reporting requirement do change, and when that happens, we have to come up with some other reporting that to suit the requirement on a day-to-day basis. So on this menu, this subset menu of the payroll, and when we click on that, it comes up again to another subset, and then clicking on this, it comes to this level where we enter the parameter. So what I'll do, as I said, these are live data that we are accessing here. I'll just stop on this level, and then I won't proceed on to populating the data, because these are payroll-related data that will be populated. So what is shown here is, as I said, on the theme of this symposium, it's show and tell of what module is in the MIS Online.
Can I just, sorry about this, interrupt. You realize you have only 1 hour, and you're on the first one, and it's 11:20 now, so may I just ask the ITS team, you have a lot of things. You don't need to go into these details. You just need to tell us what you have, basically. The more important thing, I think, at the moment might be things like the work on Cognos and stuff rather. This has been there for so long now, people know quite a bit about it. So can you adjust your presentations, please, and just make sure that we're more focused?
Yeah, thank you for that. This is about all on this module. What I'm doing here is just to show and tell what one of the reporting facility that is existing on MIS Online. Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Yashnil Dutt. I'm also one of the developers in ITS. There are two systems I'll talk about, and I'll quickly go over them. The first one is the USP e-code system, right? What is this? This is basically a online system that caters for quotations. At the moment, this is a project that was done for procurement office, finance, and the rationale behind the system was that at the moment this system is a more transparent and efficient and uniform system, because the current process was that because USP is a big university and a big organization, so there are a lot of suppliers out there, a lot of vendors out there who want to do business with USP. So at the moment, what happens is if a finance officer has to ask for quotations, then 3 people call to different companies different times, right? And then so one quotation is reached, for example, at 8 o'clock, one at 12 o'clock, and so there was no transparency. The quotation could be leaked to other companies. So this system basically is an online application, right? That locks all the quotations. It will not show any quotation while the quotation is still open, right? So so the system is in production since August 2017, right? I'll skip over all of this. In a nutshell, this is the different features, right, of the system. Online quotation seeking, online quotation submission by suppliers, quotation searching and tracking, and all those. We'll have a look. We'll have a quick look at this in a while. I'll also skip over this. This is basically showing the users and features, right? What the different people can do. In a nutshell, this system is for procurement officers, finance officers. Also for faculty staff and for regional staff as well, right? They can do all these functions. We'll quickly have a look in the system, right? And the managers basically have report viewer roles, right? Okay, and the suppliers, the USP vendors can submit quotation, track quotation, and we'll have a look in a bit. The prospective users, currently the system is being used by designs and projects team and maintenance management. This is formerly the PNF as a pilot run, right? And then the system is will be rolled out to the other departments within USP, including the other regional campuses as well, right? Let's have a look, quick look at the system. Okay. There's two users, right? USP staff and a supplier. So let me log in as the staff first. Okay, so basically what the USP staff can do, or finance people can do, they can invite quotation, right? This is no records added, you have to add new. So what happens is basically, we'll have a look. Okay, so what the finance officer needs to do basically, go and choose the campus, right? Which campus? Ogala or Kiribati, Lambasa, whatever, to the department. Which department is this for, you're calling quotation for, and then choose a category, then put a title, short description, then you put a start date, right, and then a close date, and then you can attach a file. Any file, let's say scope of works or any additional information you want to put, and then you just at the record, what happens is the system will automatically generate email notifications, and then send it out to all the suppliers, USP suppliers out in the who do business with us, right? And then they'll get notifications, and then they'll be able to submit quotation from the system, right? Just a quick show of this. See, for example, at any point in time, if you search for a quotation, see, look at this quotation, the first one. The status says cannot view bids now. Why? Because the system is, the quotation is currently running, right? And the close date has not reached. So anybody, even the manager, if he logs in, even the managers can't see the real quotations. So this is the transparent system, right? They cannot view the bids. However, if the close date has finished, then it will show you how many bids were submitted, right? And then they can click on the bids and then see who all bid, right? So this is the basically the e-code system, right? And from the supplier side, right? If a supplier logs in, this is the supplier portal, right? And they can look have a list of their history, right? They can see all the bids that they have done, and then if the quotation is still open, they can basically just go and upload their quotation and put a price. That's it. It's very simple, right? And yeah, so this is the e-code system. And there are other functions as well. I thought just to highlight on the main ones, right? So yeah, so let's now quickly go to the other one. The other one is the USP official transcript control system. I'll just quickly invite Paula. He will just show you the new academic transcript, and then mention the security features.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes. As you, just to be aware that at the moment we are currently having a new academic transcript paper. Something looks like this, and it is being used in the last graduation. So it has some security features. Basically, it comes out because some students, or maybe not as students, they went out and present an academic transcript with all A+. And if it's all A+, then the whole of the university will going to know that person because he's a gold medalist. Anyway, yeah, and the security features, basically, it's a reduction. We try to minimize the risks of fraud. There are two types of fraud. One is the alteration of the original content, and another one is try to duplicate the paper itself. And so there are two levels of fraud. So at the moment, what we've got here at the University of South Pacific, we've got this secure paper. And some of the features that they have is it has odd numbers. So each paper has an odd number. If you're being issued with an academic transcript, it simply means that, if you're being issued an academic transcript, it simply means that your ID number will be linked into the transcript that is being issued to you. And that is the application that YAS will be doing, will be showing. And also with it, there are some features. Some are, we can see, for example, this logo, and it's foil embroidered, and also the back. And also, if you pass UV light against this academic transcript, you'll see some security features that cannot be seen with the naked eyes, and you cannot replicate it as well. For example, this is custom made for USP, and you'll see the University of the South Pacific. And with this number, audit number, there's also an audit number that can only be visible through UV light, and they are corresponding, they are linked. That UV light number, audit number is also back. And also, when you pass through, and you'll be able to see some security features that are specific for USP. It's all in the front page, also at the back page. And while looking at the academic transcript, you can see our tappet design. USP tappet design, it is that is in it, so that you can see that you're not naked eyes. So that is for the academic transcript, and we're also working on the certificate paper, so probably in the first graduation next year, we'll be producing our new certificate papers, CQ1, that will be able to reduce risk. Thank you.
Thanks, Paula. So Paula has basically explained this, right, the background, right, the why there's a need for this system. This system basically cooperates with the new transcript paper. It has the audit number, and so we are recording that audit number, and also we are allowing students and current students and former students anywhere in the world to apply for the transcript online. Right? They can order for the transcript online. Okay, so this is basically the features of the system, right? Paper stock management, online transcript ordering, transcript overall monitoring, and other features which I think will be better shown in by the demo. Right, these are the different uses. We'll skip this. And the system is currently used, the system is to be used by the SAS department, current and former students of USP, right? So we'll have a look, at the system, a brief look. Okay. See, if so, the system allows current students and former students anywhere in the world to apply to order their transcript, right? So when they log in, right, to speed up time, I have just already logged in as a former student. So what they'll need to do is log into the system. They need to register first, of course, and then once they're logged in, then what they need to do is just go and order transcript, right? So basically, this is a very simple, straightforward. The system picks the ID by itself, the collection mode. The three different modes. You can personally collect at USP SAS counter, or postal mail to self, or postal mail to third party. If you postal mail to self, you would notice that the system pulls the address the student registered by default, and if he has moved and changed the address, you can change the address here, right? It's editable field. Let's put an email address and then the phone number, and then there's three different payment options, right? If they have paid, they can use if they have paid a USP cashier, then they'll need to enter the receipt number. The system verifies the receipt number, and if they want to pay online using the USP Pay system, then there's a link here that they can pay using that. And also, a lot of our regional students, they pay at the USP campus in the region. So if they pay there, all they need to do is they need to upload the receipt, and the receipt will be verified by the SAS team, right? So there are three different options, and then there is order. So what happens is, so that allows them to order the transcript, right? So final bit is logging as a USP staff, right? Okay, so when a staff logs in, there's a whole bunch of options, right? There's a paper stock management, and then I'll not go into them. And then there's front office collection. So what happens is, when the students come to collect their transcript, the people at the front counter, they will record that audit number that's printed on the transcript, and then record it in the system. So in future, if someone wants to say, okay, is this a valid transcript, we can always go and enter that number, and then check and verify. So the big advantage of this is we can later this can be extended to the employees in the outside. Normally the HR people, when they normally, if someone takes a USP transcript, the employees believe it's a true one. But if we have the system, we can extend it, and via web services, we can allow employees to just enter the ID number, and then they can see it's valid or not, and they can grade. So that's the extensibility of the system, right? And that's basically it. Thank you very much, Vinaka. I'll call Rafael to continue.
Hello, my name is Kamal, and I'm one of the developers at ITS. I'll be presenting on the survey reporting applications here at USP. Just a brief background. Before these reporting applications were introduced, the departments such as Planning Quality Office and Pacific TAFE, they used to do manual data analysis using Excel and other analytical tools. The analysis process used to take 2 to 3 months to produce the final report, which was inefficient and very time consuming. The distribution of the reports were through either emails or hand delivery to the individual faculties or the departments. There was no centralized data storage for historical data, thus creating trending reports was hectic. Business benefits after introducing these applications: elimination of human intervention for data analysis, reports readily available online, efficiency in report generation process, saves time and manpower, archiving historical data, centralized data storage, and record keeping for better analysis and auditing, and also better data control and validation. Some of the reporting applications are SEC, that's the Student Evaluation of Cost, published in 2014, Total Experience Survey, TES, published in 2016, and the two recent published applications, that's a Graduate Destination Survey, published in August this year, month of August this year, and Pacific TAFE just recently in October. We'll be focusing on the two recent applications that have been deployed. For GDS, the functionalities for GDS, it's manage graduation details, manage users, manage survey responses, view logs, and view reports. The application uses for GDS, it has three actors. That's admin. That's basically the person who is responsible for managing the application. The second is the student interns. They are the ones who's going to do the data entry of the data in the survey forms. And the other one is the report users. These reports are available to all USP staffs, whether academic or professional. A demo of the application. This is the administration view. So you'll see an admin panel which allows you to manage survey, manage users, and upload student details. There's a survey panel which allows you to do the survey data entry and manage survey response. The key function of this application is the reporting bit, which is it reports in two classifications. One is the reporting by year, and the other is reporting by semester. Currently, there is only data available for 2017, since this system has just got live. The list of reports available in the systems are student status by respondents, employment status, employment type, employment by country, employment by sector, employment by faculty, school, and so forth. I'll just quickly go on to the last report and show you what it looks like. So this is like getting the institutional respondent of how satisfied a student was overall in his or her program. So with the current data, the satisfaction rate is 95%. There are other reports available on this application. Feel free to go through it because it's available to all the USP staffs. Thank you. I'll hand over to Kevin to go through the Pacific TAFE application.
Hello, my name
Sorry,
is...
just before you start, Kevin, just I had a couple of very quick questions. Colleague, hardly anybody there now. You do the surveys, or the students or people do the surveys manually on paper. Do they?
Yeah, for PNQ to maintain their response percentage, they wanted to do the survey manually, get the data, and then use the data to... this application is basically the analysis based.
Yeah, because I think one of the things that we're trying very hard to move away from is to have manual input of data, because that's where the data... that's when data starts to get it.
I mean, the survey form has been designed in such a way that the PNQ department can have the tablets and computers available there at SAS, and the students can directly go and input data. which has been catered in the system. But the current practice that they are using is they are using the forms to fill in data.
Well, this is one of the things that we need to get around, and obviously, you know, it's not for you. It's really for the university to stop people from doing that, because we can't have multiple sources of data. That's one thing, and we can't have a lot of manual interjection, because that's where a lot of errors start to come in. So, okay, it's good that you've highlighted it. I think that's something that we need to discuss at the university level. It's really not, it shouldn't be up to a section to determine how they collect data, right? It's the university that'll determine for the section. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kemnal Swami, and also one of the assistant analyst programmers for ITS. I'll just quickly go into the demo of the application due to time constraints. This application was specifically built for Pacific TAFE staff, whereby they would be able to enter the survey data and do their own analysis. Okay, this application is a very small application whereby it just has 3 major functionalities. Just has a survey data upload, managing of users, and basically the report listing which you are currently viewing. I'll just quickly display one of the reports which is available in the application. It gets the recent data. At the moment I've just put in dummy data for testing purposes, but it will be able to view as such, and it has the ability for printing reports and saving its whatever the feature they would like to have. Managing users, just basically list of users, and uploading the surveys, the data Excel file which will be catered. So it's a very small application serving its purpose. As mentioned, the small functionalities is displayed. Application users are basically all the roles or staff that will be assigned to use the application as campus coordinators, heads of college, program coordinator, and facilitator or course coordinators. Future works for this are trend analysis, basically collecting historical data and finding a pattern, and then discussing on how we can further benefit the courses itself. Calculation based on Australian accreditation calculation, and further drill down reports on specific needs by the department themselves. Okay, thank you. I'll now pass it to Gon to take on for the new application.
Good morning, everybody, and I am Gordon Chandra. I'll be taking you through the Banner Operational Data Store, the Banner Enterprise Data Warehouse, and the IBM Cognos reporting tool that we have employed here at USP. Just a little content, I'll be presenting to you why we have brought this system, the purpose of this system, plus a small overview of how these 3 things are related. I'll talk about the features of the Banner ODS, CTW, and the Cognos reporting tool, mention some of the technologies that it is utilizing, some of the users that we have on this system already, some recommendations for university to consider, and then my colleagues Sanimal and Bharti will do a small demo of the reporting. We know at any organization, managers, the heads of departments, and the knowledge workers, they have different information needs and they have different ways of understanding their information. Everyone wants information that is accurate and consistent so that they can use it for the decision making relative to their programs and initiatives. Data collection at USP, we saw earlier in the past few years that sometimes there were duplication of data by different departments, sharing of data was not happening, and some reports that were supposed to complement each other were not in sync, they were out of sync. So a need came about for a single data repository that could combine all the data that is collected by USP and reports to be presented in a unified manner. The purpose of this ODS, EDW, and the Cognos reporting tool was to actually address our growing needs as our institution grew with the applications we are housing at USP. Our level 1 says baseline reports are some of the reports that we are deriving from the applications that we are deploying here at USP, the application level reports itself. Then once we had Banner Student, Banner Finance, Banner HR, even MIS Online apps and SALTS apps and the other apps departments are developing, we saw that there was a need for some custom reports, and we developed some reportings on the SALTS staff and the MIS Online repository that we had. But as our information needs grew, we saw that there is now need for some periodic reporting and sometimes ad hoc reporting, and also the reporting that is happening, information that has been collected by all the different departments. We want to see a true unified picture. So that's where the ODS came in, and that's what we are at the moment in the process of developing and implementing and educating the university about it. Once the ODS is operational, then we will have the foundation laid for the EDW to be set up, which is the Enterprise Data Warehouse, which will allow us to do some trend analysis, historical analysis, forecasting analysis, as well as data mining options would be available. All this in place will allow us to do some performance management capability at USP. So that as time goes, we continue with that. This here is just a small overview of how the things are set up. On my left here, this is on my right here. On my right here, you can see is all the Banner applications, some of the other applications, legacy applications we use, and the other applications that we are developing here at USP. All these are source transaction systems. They are for data collection. We transfer all their data into the Banner ODS, and from the Banner ODS, we use some extraction, transformation, and loading to combine the data from the different repositories and present them as a composite repository ready for reporting from the operational level. From the operational tables, we do some extraction, transformation, and load, and build our aggregate data cubes, which is sort of like fact and dimension tables. Allows us to see our performance and measure our performances from multiple different dimensions. All this EDW reporting and the ODS reportings are achieved via our Cognos front end, which is a front end to reporting that allows us to achieve different kinds of reports, list reports, cross-tab reports, drill down reports, dashboard reports, batch reportings, and there's also provision for scorecard reporting and trend and forecasting once we have the EDW in place. The Banner ODS. The Banner ODS is a repository which denormalized tables specifically optimized for reporting purposes. So most of the purpose of this ODS is to actually meet our reporting needs. It provides a consistent view of institutional data for everyone, SAS, HR, finance, etc., across the campus. So we don't have different views of the data. Everyone has the same view. The BANA ODS provides access to information needed to manage operational reporting, perform ad hoc queries, and make better decisions. Enables you to extract information from your source systems, reorganize the information in a simplified manner, and store it in the database. It also has the potential not only to just receive data from the BANA applications, but from all other applications that we have here at USP, so long as it has a database. Example, we have built a NOC application which feeds data, which is an application that receives data from the ITS Service Help Desk and from the iDirect WAN and LAN systems, and it is presenting reports on the Cognos front end. With BANA ODS, you can give users the information they need to update, to make better decisions, to comply more easily with evolving reporting requirements, to rely on a single version of the truth through shared and consistent and accurate data, improve processes and performances across key business areas. The BANA Enterprise Data Warehouse. This is a multi-dimensional database that gives you complete picture of your institution's current and past business conditions. The BANA EDW is an all-in-one business intelligence foundation you need to identify trends, spot anomalies, work smarter, measure institution performance, plan strategically, and to compare information based on consistent shared view of information. The IBM Cognos reporting front-end tool, it's a front-end tool to our BANA ODS and EDW system that helps us to generate reports. The type of reports are list reports, cross-tab drill down, active graphical reports, even multi-dimensional reports, and scorecard reports to manage our KPIs and goals and objectives. We can do report scheduling, and we can do report distribution, schedule them and send it to people, to consumers. We can control access to reports in a variety of ways. We can build customized dashboards for each consumer of the system, and that dashboard can be uniquely designed to a person's need. So you have to think of the reports that you would like to see on your dashboard, and we can custom build dashboard for you. Earlier on, we saw the expansion of this side of the model. Now we are seeing the expansion of the Cognos end, which sees that from the ODS and from the EDW, the framework manager and the transformer tools are used to build packages and cubes ready for Cognos connection, and the Cognos suite that presents the reports from the web browser to the report consumers, either on their web or on PDFs, on Excel downloads. Everything is available. The technology that we are using for this system is Oracle RDBMS and Oracle RAC. For the tools, we have Oracle WebLogic Warehouse Builder, the Cognos Framework Manager, Transformer, Matrix Studio, and the Cognos ODS and EDW metadata. The applications that are supporting this are the BANA ODS EDW administration software, the BANA ODS self-service reporting, and the IBM Cognos suite, which includes a host of studios for building reports and for building the dashboard. This is just a picture of the BANA ODS EDW administration interface. These are some of the options and jobs that we can do, and there are more jobs that we can do. This is just a picture of the IBM Cognos suite that we are utilizing. Each of the different things in the IBM Cognos suite is like building reports for different purposes. So each of these are different studios and administration to control things. The users of the system, the people that are already on board with this, we have our USP Finance team, our USP ITS team, our USP Student Academic Services, the Research Office, and the HR Office already on board. The potential for this system with the users in the future, we are saying that the faculties can also engage with this, the planning office can engage with this, and eventually all the sections and departments with the USB can benefit with reports from this system. Recommendations. All sections and departments engaging in collecting data for USP should be considering ways to integrate their collected data with the BENA ODS. All sections and department users should be thinking of their reporting data needs, scheduling needs, and distribution needs. They can pursue their needs with the enterprise reporting team to map out the options they have with this Cognos solution. Users should be thinking of the personalized dashboard reports, and it's designed to help them with their individual line of duties. A user can have multiple dashboards for themselves. So these are some of the things we recommend that people and departments can start looking into. With this, I now call upon Ms. Bharti Devi and Sanimal Kumar to present a demo of the application.
Okay, good day all. I hope you are enjoying the presentation so far. So what I'll present is basically some of the reports that has already been developed in the in Cognos system. So this is just a number, but with these reports there are drill downs and other reports that we can go into. So this is just like a summary of the number of reports being developed. I'll actually go into Cognos and show these reports, but I'll quickly show the other dashboard reports that we have started with. So while the Cognos end is loading, I'll quickly show these all reports. These are the SES dashboard reports in which these graphs can be clicked and drilled down into to get into a more granular level or to the transaction level, whereby you can get a list of students with their details as well. The team has also developed HR dashboard in which you can get a number of reports depending on the on the staff list, the gender, the regional staffs, and also the finance dashboard. These dashboard are actually the monthly reports that they actually produce. So I'll show you from the Cognos end now as to how you can actually see the reports. Okay. Okay, yeah. So this is the SES dashboard. It has the admission part, the registration. While the registration, because dashboard it has a lot of reports, so it takes a bit more time to load. What we have done is there's you have bar graph, pie chart plus a table to actually list. So if for instance you actually want to see what the number of students who are actually this 427 in Cook Islands, you can actually click down and it will actually take you to the list report for the number of students. While that page is loading, we can now go and see the registration report. This one actually shows for each campus the number of registration in their status, with a paid or unpaid. These all graphs are clickable. Yeah. So for the admission, by the course with their numbers. In Cognos, you can also go and see the list of students who make this 10. So if you click on it, you get all the student details. So within one report, you can go from a very summary level to the most drill downs. You don't have to go and search for 3 different types of reports. So I guess that's for drill down, that's one of the key advantages. And to present to a management level, you can have your dashboard ready with all these creative charts. Moving on with the presentation. Similar like SES report, you have your HR dashboard whereby all are clickables and you can actually drill down. The finance dashboard. We have also done a completion letter. These are Sanimal will present on the completion letter plus the NOC reports.
Thank you, Bharti. Good day all. Completion letter is a good example of a BENA Oracle report that the team has developed in Cognos. The future plans of the team is to transfer all the MIS Online, SOLS, DIBS and all BENA Oracle reports to Cognos. So to run the report, you have to just log into Cognos and just click on the report link. So This completion letter is an example of a batch completion letter, and it is used to generate a list of completion letters for students who have completed their program and have applied for graduation at their choice of campus. So this is a sample of batch completion letter. First, it shows a tabular list of student details, followed by their completion letters respectively. So this is a demo of next graduation that will be held at Alafua on December. So this is one of the Oracle reports. Now moving on to the other report, which is the NOC report. NOC report is a good example of a report that's being developed in Cognos from an external data source apart from BENA. So over here you have to also provide your input parameters and the report will be generated. So this is the main page and you have to click on the next button to get the core details. Then we'll get the when details followed by the report at the end. So this is a good example of a report from an external data source. There are other reports that the team is developing in Cognos which are in the pipeline, such as requisition, purchase order, and student invoices. These are all local reports that's currently being developed. Thank you. Any questions?
No questions, looks like. It's just a comment, I think. It's really good to see or to know that we're, again, you know, a lot of groundwork is being done for what we're wanting, where we're wanting to be. So there's a whole lot of things that's going on, which is excellent. In all of this, and I think going forward, unless we, going back to the earlier presentation, unless we ensure that our data source is absolutely solid, these, you know, won't mean a lot of things currently. I mean, the mechanism is there, the vehicle is pretty much there. It's what is in the system, because HR, we know, the data is so bad, right? But, so that remains, I mean, the cleaning of data remains a really big issue that we need to really resolve in the next 12 months. So for all the things we've been talking about, this is really good. We've got a vehicle, we've tested it, trialed it. It's a matter of now using it. Oh, thank you. Very good.
Okay, good day all. Thank you FST for inviting us for this nice IT project symposium. And I would be representing a research office and what all we have currently implemented for research office and for the wider USP community. So just an overview, I'll be doing the demo on these 3 IT products, which is developed in-house and for postgraduate research portal. This was in collaboration with Research Software Factory exactly, and also Research Office dashboard, which is a very simple dashboard for Research Office and our USP staff. So a bit of introductory of what Research Office is trying to achieve. We have our QR, and which is divided into 4 parts. And K1 to K4, we have K1 as for number of applications, publications, sorry, and K2, which is the number of high rank publications, K3 as PGR supervision, and K4 as research income. So where all 4 products would be fitting in, K1 and K2 has already been achieved, and this is on our research dashboard. And this is data coming from our USP software, which is not part of the demo exactly, but USP actually captures all the publication data from USP. K3 will be achieved through PGRP, as the portal PGRP agents will be able to generate and automate this portion as well. and K4 will be achieved through use of banner. We have this functionality available, and it should be implemented by next year or coming year, which is a research accounting module. So I'll quickly start off with our first product, which is Directory of Experts and Supervisors. So about this product, it is actually a replacement of our old non-functional app. This was previously in, I think, MIS Online, but it's not functional anymore. And this is a searchable database for all the research interest of USP staff. So this was particularly focused on assisting prospective graduate assistants to find their supervisors, and also to assist external researchers to be able to find staff or researchers with similar interest in their research collaboration. So a bit of background on it. We have publications of staff which is automatically synced from USP. And we have, actually we need experts and supervisors to put in, feed in this similar information, which is their biography, their research interest, and the availability of their supervision, so that this can be advertised to a wider community for researchers. This was implemented in 2016, but we are still creating awareness of this project, and we are hoping that most of the USP community gets on board as well. So this was developed in .NET MVC with our backend database of MySQL. Features, I've already gone through this, but it is a search for staff based on research interest departments sections of their by names. I'll give you a screenshot on how that search feature is. This also allows staff to update their research profiles, which is the staff research supervision records, but we are hoping to get this from PGRP as PGRP ages, and also the staff research awards. Moving on to the features, this is also integrated with our USP banner system. We get the current staff information, their positions and departments from banner, and also from USP we get all the research publications. Users of the system, we have all the USP experts and supervisors, admins, which is from USP office and research office, I mean. And we have all the research students and also all the research collaborators from externals as well. Recommendations and which all departments can use this. We can say that HR can use this for their staff appraisal in terms of getting the number of supervision and those things. It's not just meant for USP, but for external inquiries as well. We will find in future that all our external parties will be able to see all the research interest, particular interest in USP, and would be able to collaborate with our research team. So if you want to access our directory of experts and supervisors, that's the link for us, experts.usp.ac.fj, and all USP staff will be able to log in. This screenshot particularly is focused on how to search for an expert. You can search by name, position, your department, or a particular research interest. Currently, if you just search for everything, you'll see that there are 2 supervisors who have already made their accounts public. And if you click further onto their names, you'll see their biography and all their publications made and submitted to USP. So their research interest and everything would be available there. And if they have any profile links available, they can also provide through this portal as well. So this is just for the expert to feed in as well. If you want to make this public, you have to come log in as a USP staff and put in the information for awards, projects, and supervisions, whichever you have done for masters and PhD. For supervision, we are looking at integrating this with Portal. We'll be automatically getting with this information from Portal. But since Portal is very new at the moment, we'll not initiate that at the moment. But for awards and projects, we are recommending that experts put in their information so that when researchers look up your profile, they are able to see what particular interest you have and what all projects you have worked on. That's all for Directory of Experts. Now I'll move on to our major product of this year, which is our PGRP. And A bit of background, this project was developed in collaboration with Software Factory, and the basic idea here was to encapsulate all the PGR processes into one application, which makes it transparent in communication and also for interested parties as well. So why we actually developed this, we want a particular monitoring tool, and this is a very good software to use to monitor our students and also our supervisors as well. And it also standardizes our research process as well. So proposal submission till your examiner nomination, your final submission of thesis, everything is in this portal. So this will help us to measure our performance of both student and supervisors. So that's in terms of timeliness, our reports, progress reports, milestones, and approvals. Yes, this was implemented late in the middle of last month, and this was developed in MVC as well, and with the backend data in SQL Server. Major features, since it covers all the PGR processes, that's from your proposal, milestone, progress report, final thesis, and so forth. So for proposal, I'll start. Students have to submit their proposal to their supervisor and also the FRC. After approval, then they'll be able to see all other functionalities in our PGR portal, which is milestones. So milestones is between the student and the supervisor himself. And supervisors, they can provide in their comments or even upload a new version of the document. So just to ease track on how supervisors would like to report on their milestones or their major impacts of their projects, we have incorporated milestones here so that they can show that they have achieved much in their project. And progress report, we have also enabled this feature here so that students can upload their progress report on the portal itself, and supervisors, even the FRC, can put in their comments as well. So another basic feature of this is that there are notifications in the system and as well on the email as well. For thesis chapters, this is another feature after a progress report and everything is done. So thesis chapters, we want every thesis chapter to be available on the portal itself, so that before you submit your final thesis, you have your pre-work of the thesis there as well. And then we have extended abstract. Students upload an extended abstract. Supervisor can comment on it. Head of school after that nominates an examiner upon approving, and that goes into, it goes to your final thesis. Once a student uploads in the final thesis, then as soon as the FRC does the approval and so forth, it goes into examination process, where examiner is nominated and so forth. We also have this correction feature there as well, where if examiner says that you have a few major corrections there, you go through this feature to put in your corrections for the thesis. And then it will go as forth to your examination process. So I'll quickly go to the users part of it. We have all these users, which is part of the PGR process, and which includes everyone from admin till research students. So that's inclusive of head of school, FRC, Senate as well. We want library on this as well as SCS in terms of graduation. So recommendation for this, if this application is used properly, we'll have a means of measuring quality of experience from students and supervisors. We're able to measure their progress, and also we're aiming for improvement of completion rates at USP. So the site can be accessible from pgrp.usp.ac.fj. I won't be doing a demo of this because it's quite a big application and has a lot of features in it. But I'll sum it up with our last product for this symposium, which is a Research Office dashboard. This is also a replacement of an old research dashboard, and it was implemented last month. A common operation on the dashboard is for updating the ranks of our publications. So we get all the data from USP, and then we manipulate data and rank according to the publication ranking of USP. And this dashboard is able to actually define all those rank and give the report to staff so that their K1 and K2 are measured. So RO provides this report on trend of the USP publication by item, type, rank, quality, publications by faculty, even member country, SRT, and open access publications. So we also provide in trend comparison for a decade of publications. And the rank of publications include all the major publications, which is era 2010 till Qualis 2017. So major feature, currently it is for K1 and K2 reporting for all staff. We have implemented this, and if staff wish to check on their K1 and K2 reports, they can log into our dashboard and view it. Also, this is used to find ranks of publications through our rank finder. So that's the link to access our dashboard, and the screenshot is giving you just an overview of how you can find the rank for a publication. If you'll just quickly search using the search feature, and for this screenshot it's electrical, and everything, every journal or publications made for electrical, you'll be able to see the equivalent rank for it. So that's from ERA and Qualis all together. And this is just a bit of a dashboard which is available to Research Office at the moment to view the trends for a decade at the moment. So that's the trend for publication by item type, and it's for a decade of data. The users at the moment is all USP staff and Research Office admin. Future development, we're looking into incorporate K3 and K4 into these reports and make it available to all USP community. Any questions? I can see I went quite fast.
Just a comment. There's a lot of information. Obviously, this one is way advanced and has the information as we need it. I couldn't help but hear you repeatedly say, you know, it could be used, you know, depending on how well people use it. Right. I think to reassure the Research Office that in this new I-Perform that is going to be developed, it would be a requirement for staff to go and put in the data. It would be in their interest because that's where we will extract data from. So they will no longer give it to us. So they will have to use it, and you will have a very, very up-to-date, you know, research information there. So Shabnil is taking notes to basically, we won't need to do anything here except link it by the looks of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, colleagues, those of us who are here, it's lunchtime now, so let's make our way out that way, and we will return at 1:30, no? 1:30. Okay, good.